What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a new video. And in this video, I want to give you a tip that you can use in backtesting, but also just with trading to really improve your performance. So let's get started. All right, so before we start, I quickly want to ask you if you would be so nice to subscribe to the channel, because I've been putting out a lot of free content and I would really appreciate some support. And also, if you have any questions, because sometimes my content can be quite in-depth, don't hesitate to ask your questions because I'll always be there to help you out. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. So a lot of people want to start with backtesting, but they have no idea what to do. And in my beginner series, I talked a bit about it. In the series I'm doing with BlueFX, I talk a lot about it together with Christian from the BlueFX team. But in this session, I want to give you a tip that you can use when you're testing yourself, and it is the MFE. The MFE basically stands for the maximum favorable excursion. This means how far price went once you entered before your stop has been hit. So to give you an example of this, let's say you went long on this candle. Let me change the fibs. Let's say you went long on that particular candle because your rules told you so. And your target was at 1 hour and you stopped below. So you basically aimed for a 1-to-1. But you took profits. And as you can see, price went up way higher and it might even have hit 2R. There we go. You made 2R. By the way, people always ask me how I do this. These are the numbers I fill in. 0, 0 is your stop loss if you want to use it. BE is level 1, level 2 is 1R, level 3, 2R, etc. And that way you can fill in these levels. And basically the distance from BE to 1R is the same as the distance from 0 to BE. So you can measure 1R, 2R, etc. But as you can see, you took profits way too early and you left 1R even more on the table. Now, this is normal when you're trading. You can never really take profits at the right time before the market drops again. However, when backtesting and measuring your MFE, you basically want to have a column with your take profit on it. So your rules for take profit, let's say your rule is take profit at 1 hour. You want to measure that performance over a big enough sample size, but you also want to fill in how far price went up. So like this, before taking out your stop loss. And if you notice that over a big enough sample size, price tends to move past your target before it hits your stop loss, and it can increase your performance in terms of R and equity, then you know, all right, I'm taking my profits way too early. So I need to figure out how I can get out later in my winning positions. Maybe you want to put in a static target like 2R. Maybe you notice that, all right, my trades hit 2R a bit less often than 1R, but in terms of R multiples, at the end of the day, I make more R when this is my target and it doesn't really harm my win rate that much. That might be possible for certain strategies I use. That's definitely the case. So you basically want to test it. So let's say you start with a 1R target in one column, 2R target in another column, and the MFE in another column. Then you start by filling in, damn, this is a bit weird. But then you start by filling in the results. So 1R, yes, target hit, yes, target hit, no, yes. 2R target, was it hit on the same trade? No, yes, no, yes. Of course, you want to do this for 100 trades or more. And then you fill in the MFE. The MFE was at this 2.5R, for example. Now that doesn't add up with this, but it's just an example. Let's say it was 3 here. Let's say it was 0.5 here. And let's say it was 3 here. Now, if you do this for a long enough time, you can basically calculate the R you made with target 1, with target 2, and how much R you could maximally make in the trade. And if there's a massive difference between your normal target and the MFE, then it's time for you to figure out how you can take more profits out of these winning trades. And a lot of people only focus on entries, but when you exit the trade, that determines your profits or your losses. So that should be the focus when you are trying to improve your strategy, in my opinion. So yeah, that's just a quick tip you can use when you're going to backtest. And the same goes for the opposite direction. So before the trade hit your target 1, how far did price go towards your stop loss? And as you can see, it almost got hit. And if you notice that on the majority of your trades, your stop loss almost gets hit, then you know you can get a better entry. Maybe your entry can be, let's say your target stays the same at 1R, but your entry is over here. Then you make 2R on the same setup without decreasing your win rate. And sometimes, usually your win rate goes down a bit, but it can massively increase your performance. So that's really something to think about and to test. So if I would put this in Excel to give you a clearer example, trade number, date, so the date you took it, maybe you want to take time, then you fill in 1R target, 2R target, MFE. So let's say trade number 1, etc. You want to do this for a big enough sample size, date, 10th of August, time 900 hours. Now, did I get 1R? Did target 1 hit? I usually fill in a yes and a no, for example. Let's put yes here. Let's put yes, no. You get a point. You do this for enough trades. And then at the end, you also want to fill in the MFE. So that would be 2.5, 3. And at the end, you basically can calculate how much R you made using this target, how much R you made using that target, how much R you could have maximally made. And then you can come up with ideas to increase your profit taking. And maybe you notice that the average, maybe you notice that the total is way more than this one. And the average MFE per trade is around 4R instead of 2. Then you can ask yourself, all right, let's say if I test a 3R and a 4R target, does my performance increase compared to the other 2 targets? If that's the case and you can accept a lower win rate, then you can go for that and you can increase your performance that way. So quick tip here, guys. If you like this, if you want to see more like this, please leave a comment down below. Ask your questions and subscribe. And then I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.